My name is Commissioner Frank Avila. I'm a commissioner at the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District of Greater Chicago. And the name of our show is Health. And as my guest, I have Joey Bachewicz. Joey, glad to be on the show.
Thank you.
And the reason why I'm talking about health is that because I chair the Health and Wellness Committee at the district, and I'm concerned about the health of the residents here in Cook County. And that's why, at the district, very few people ever heard of our agency.
Mm-hmm.
And we have 7 wastewater plants, Joe.
Mm-hmm.
3 are the largest in North America, 1 is largest in the world. And we treat everything that a person does during the day.
Mm-hmm.
They eat, they drink, they poop and pee, retreat. They brush their teeth, they use toothpaste, shampoo, it comes to our system, we treat it. And some of these products that we use, the ingredients in these products are not the greatest.
Mm-hmm.
And it's harmful to our health. And that's why I have Joey here that we're going to talk about health. And Joey is going to talk about his health and how he improved and what he's doing to it.
Mm-hmm.
Glad on the show, Joey.
Thank you very much. And Frank, the point that I wanted to bring up is that we've known each other a few years now.
Yes.
And I've been on a personal quest to, get myself healthy, help my family, help, the community to the extent that I can. But one of the things that I found that you do is that you're like a forerunner of everybody else with this water reclamation. I mean, when you think about what you're doing, we really don't think about the way that Frank Avila is doing it. And I was reading an article the other day in the Chicago Tribune about deforestation. And, 20 years ago, nobody was talking about deforestation. I mean, you didn't really think about it. You didn't think it was significant. And, it just didn't come home. But what the article brought out is that there's 3 parts to it. One is awareness, then it's education, and then it's you deter it somehow. And I equate what you're doing with, first of all, the awareness. I mean, when I first met you and you were talking and you gave me that little poop bottle
Yeah.
over here and say, hey, this is fertilizer. We sell this. We recycle it. We make money and stuff like that. And I wasn't really aware. I know every once in a while when I go down 55 and get off there, you got some kind of plant there.
I-55,
Yeah, we could smell it. But I'm equating this to when one of my daughters was in junior high school.
Yes.
I was shaving, and she came and she said, Dad, do you know what you're doing? You know what you're doing to the environment with that aerosol can?
Aerosol, yes.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
I was not aware of it.
Yeah.
But my kids in school, they were it. But I mean, she chewed me out.
Yeah.
I don't use aerosol cans anymore.
Yeah.
If I do, I feel really guilty.
Yeah.
I kind of feel the same way when I invited you to my house a few months ago,
Yeah.
And Frank, you said, you excused yourself and you went to the washroom and then you came out. And you brought out my little dispensers of hand soap.
Yeah.
And you said, Joe, take this, throw them in a garbage can. I go, what do you mean? This is antibacterial.
Yeah.
So I'm listening to you and you're telling me about, triclosan?
Yeah, correctly, yeah.
Triclosan.
Yeah.
And I'm over there, what do you mean? This is antibacterial soap. Everybody's doing this. So, you see them all over the place. I get an article over here in Newsweek magazine. The dirt on soap. Antibacterial scrubs may do more harm than good. I'm over there. Wait a minute, Frank was talking about this stuff a few months ago when you told me about it. But it goes on. Like most Americans, you've probably contributed to the $450 million market for antibacterial soaps, blah, 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 under the impression that they would ward off a number of harmful microbes, staph, strep, etc.
Yes.
For example, on the bathroom doorknobs, etc. But according to a new proposal from the Food and Drug Administration, the FDA, those extra dollars may have been a total waste. And then, just one more thing. A growing number of studies suggest that antimicrobial chemicals like triclosan used in soaps from Henkel, Dial, Procter & Gamble, may cause harms like hormone disruption. I don't even know what hormone disruption is, but it doesn't sound that good.
No, it's prevalent on the young kids. Their bodies are just forming.
Yeah.
And it affects younger kids first.
Citing that research, the FDA is requiring manufacturers to justify the potential risk by verifying that their products are more effective than ordinary soap and water, lowering the risk of infections like that kind that cause stomach ailments. Frank, you're bringing awareness. You're bringing awareness to the greater Chicagoland area about the harmful effects. And, the next thing is education. And I didn't bring it, but one of your educationals, you were giving out to kids little comic books.
Yes.
It was a little sea otter, I think, Sam the sea otter.
Yeah, I got that from the U.S. Coast Guard.
Yeah. And I gave that to my grandson, who's in 6th grade. I gave it to him, and he handed them out, and they were talking about it in school.
Oh.
So the next stage is, is education. And when I see you, when you talk to 6-year-olds, you talk to 60-year-olds, you talk to 92-year-olds, and you're bringing out the awareness of what you have to do for your job and health. And you brought up, I remember you bringing up cosmetics.
Well, we call that toxic beauty.
Toxic beauty.
We want to look beautiful, so we buy toxic cosmetics, and we put it on our face or we put it on our arms, and it's pores, and that goes into our body.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But what it costs a lot of money, doesn't it, to clear it out of our waste systems?
Well, it's not that, it's also affect our health.
Uh-huh.
And then, I go around, and they have articles on there's too much pharmaceutical drugs in our waterways. Well, there's too much, and they said, Frank, would you please take it out of the water? Well, it's not me. It's the public that are buying these toxic products. They're getting sick. They got to go to the doctor. Doctor gives them a prescription. They use it. They eliminate it through their body, and it comes to our system. So the only way to remove pharmaceutical drugs, by how, Joey?
Well, the pharmaceutical drugs, the thing that surprises me, when you think about it, what are you doing? You're taking pharmaceutical, used, recycled, or whatever, they run through the human body, and then you're taking it out of the human poop and pee, and you're taking it out. So what is that doing to the human body?
Yeah.
If it's not good for your poop and pee, it's not going to be very good for your body.
And that's why we have to stay healthy.
Absolutely.
And that's when I first met you. You were having a product. It's called Univera.
Correct.
And in place of taking pharmaceutical drugs, why don't get on a healthy diet?
Absolutely.
And that's why your friend Dave Choi.
Yes.
Dave Choi is one of the top chefs, I think, in the world.
Absolutely.
And because what he prepares and what he his thoughts, his mind, body, and spirit. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's and if anyone doesn't know Dave Choi, he's a vegan chef, and he's one of the top in the world.
Absolutely.
And he's located right here in Chicago.
Yeah.
So that's when I met Joey. These two.
Dave introduced us.
Yes.
And Dave couldn't be here today because, I'm sure, and you know this, but Dave Choi had the Amiable restaurant for 35 years.
Yes.
And a few years ago, about 4 years ago, I went in there and his brother Bill was in there, and I said, "Hey, where's Dave?"
Yeah.
And he said, Dave's doing his own thing.
Yeah.
Dave's doing his own thing. And I said, okay. And it turns out that what Dave Choi did is he gave the restaurant to his brother Bill.
Yes.
And now what he does, what is his calling, is he is making his vegan. He says it's not vegan food, it's vegan concoctions.
Yeah.
But he makes it, he's serving 67 people a week. And he makes 21 meals for 67 people, and me, 67.
Yeah.
But they are stage 4 cancer patients.
Yes, yes.
And I've had cancer a couple times, and I don't have it now, and I don't want to have it again. Yeah. But that's how I got it. I got to know Dave even more. by using his food. It was amazing. Went from 176 pounds to 138 pounds in about 3 months. And then I felt, I just felt great. And I feel like I'm contributing to making your job a little bit easier.
Well, that's good. And I'm glad that this article you read about triclosan, that was what, in U.S. News? Or?
I think it was in Time Magazine.
And I hear some products that contain triclosan. It's in your soap. Here I got a public. I downloaded from the web. It's in Dial liquid hand soap, body wash, tea tree liquid soap, Clearasil. A lot of products have this triclosan. Dental care, your toothpaste, cosmetics, first aid cream, kitchenware you buy, other personal care products, clothes. So here now, our government now is making a statement here saying that the manufacturer should, and this is only deal with the antibacterial soap. Okay. And it takes time for our government to know which is bad or not, but we in the industry know it's bad for the last 10 years.
Well, what it's saying over here, they're going to give them a year to figure out if they should, if there's a little bit bad and a lot of good or whatever. But in the meantime, we're poisoning ourselves.
Johnson & Johnson product, they came out, it was in the paper that in their product, that they have the children's product, they're going to stop putting formaldehyde in it. I mean, formaldehyde. I mean, that's not good.
When we were in high school, they used to put the rats that you would cut up. Right. They would have them in formaldehyde.
So now awareness. I think people our babies are being born with adult diseases now.
Absolutely.
And this is where the awareness that I like to do when I get reelected again at the Water Reclamation District, go out and talk to the people. And I'm glad you mentioned the various steps. The first is what? Awareness. Second is education.
Education.
And then the third?
Is you deter it.
Deter it.
Deter it somehow. Maybe there's fines or maybe, I don't know how they're going to do it. But you're the forerunner. I think I've never heard anybody talking about how you're doing it with the water reclamation. I mean, you're years ahead of everybody else, I believe.
Well, there's other people probably talking, but that's why, I have a degree in civil engineering. And I always liked politics. And I had an engineering business for over 40 years. And I said, you know what? I'm going to run for office. And I won. I ran twice before I lost. The third time I won. The fourth time I won. Now I'm running for re-election again. And when I run again, I'm going to try and see if I could make people more aware and educate, and then deter. How do you deter? I think this is where people like you come in, Joe. How do you deter buying products and staying healthy? Well, it's what you're doing right now.
Well, yeah. When I got involved, basically with this these products from Univera, I was on 5 pharmaceutical drugs.
5?
5 of them. Yeah. And I really didn't start, taking them because I wanted to change or get off pharmaceuticals or anything like that. But I started when I was 55. I started, and I was taking this hot yoga. It's a real hot yoga. Yeah. It's 105 to 110 degrees. It's 90 minutes with people pushing you, not every minute, every second. And you do 26 postures 2 times. You do 52 of them. Yeah. For the first 14 months, and I know it because I changed schools after it, the first 14 months, I couldn't do all 52. And I wanted to do a more strenuous
thing. You mean in this hot yoga?
Yeah. I would have to lay down for 6 or 7 or 8 of them, depending on how I felt that day. And then, this friend of mine gave me a couple little bottles of stuff and said, "Hey, Joey, here, try these for about a week." And I said, "Okay," because I was always experimenting. I always wanted to be healthy. I always wanted to, I don't want to be, people say we're living longer. No, we're dying later. And I want to live to 130, and I'll be selling popsicles on a beach or something like that. But I don't golf, I don't fish. I want to be active, I want to be healthy. I want to enjoy my grandchildren
Yes.
and my great-grandchildren, this and that. So I took these things for a week. Within a week, I could do all 52 postures, and that was 4 years ago, and I never stopped.
A week? Oh.
I went for 14 months where I
Yeah.
couldn't do it, and I was always short, 5, 6, or 7,
Yeah.
to nothing, till I could do all 52.
Now, do you teach yoga now? Are you?
I help a friend of mine out. I teach community classes.
Oh, community
for-
classes?
Community
Oh,
classes,
excellent.
right.
Excellent.
And
So you're combining mind, body, and spirit now.
absolutely,
All three
absolutely,
in what you're doing.
absolutely.
And staying healthy.
And trying to.
Yes.
When the angel of death comes and wants to get Joey Bachewicz, he's going to say, man, no, I'm going to find somebody. Maybe there's somebody left over from World War I. I'm going to go get him. We won't be fighting like this guy,
And so you were doing research on different products and everything, and you found one just by accident, probably.
Probably, yeah. Probably, yeah. And then, I always thought, what am I going to do when I retire? I'm never, ever going to retire, which
Yeah.
means, golf or fish or do anything like that. And I was always going to say, oh, maybe I'll be one of those naturopathic doctors, go for 4 years to
Yes.
Oregon or wherever they have them. And I said, man, I don't want to be going to school for 4 years. I mean, I spent 4 years at Notre Dame and, watching football games and drinking beer, I mean, those were the college days. I don't want to do it at this age right now, So then I found Univera and I started experimenting. I said, wait a minute, these guys got 50 PhDs and MDs and doctors. They're studying it. All I got to do is just spread the word now. And, obviously I think the most, which you're a proponent of, the most important thing is like what you eat.
Oh, yes.
You got to have the right food in you.
What you put in your body.
Yeah, and it's the same thing. If you put pure plant-based food in your body, the output is going to be better, which is our output is your input,
Yes.
which means you have to take less chemicals, less stuff, less toxins out of it.
Well, yeah, right, because everything that we take, we're a wastewater treatment plant, and we have 7 plants, and every day a person must use maybe 20, 30, 40 different types of products that he goes through the day. Food, liquid, soap, cosmetic, shampoo. Just think of what you use every day, and it comes into our plant, and we have to remove it. And then once we treat it, then we put it back into the environment. And so why give us all these toxic product at the back end when we're spending money to remove it, when it's easy to prevention? And also when we do prevention, we stay more healthy.
Absolutely.
Health started at the beginning.
Absolutely.
And so who are we trying to help? We're trying to help everyone, from babies that are being born to senior citizens that are 99 years old. I had on my show seniors that Laughing Yoga grandma, 92 years old.
I saw that.
Yeah, I mean, I think Laughing Yoga extended her life a couple more years.
Absolutely.
I had a writer, 80 years old, extended his life. I mean, they're doing things that help society also.
That is, the only criticism I have is I wish you would have put me on before, because they are such a hard act to follow.
Oh, yes. Yeah. And so now this Univera, you said it's a plant-based, is a supplement or a food?
It's not
or
a supplement. It's a Dave Choi, he calls it a functional food.
A functional food?
Yeah,
Okay.
and the food that he makes for his stage 4 cancer patients
Yes.
are all vegetables. All vegetables.
And cancer patients.
For his cancer patients. They're all stage 4. So he's got 67 of them now, and he keeps picking them up. And from 4 years ago to now, he's made a few changes. One is he's got a son, HC, who's taken the basic elements of his cooking, but he's modernized it.
Okay.
I mean, he has he makes pizzas.
I understand.
And the cheese, you can't. This cheese didn't come from a cow. It came, I don't know where it came from. Cashews, almonds, something like that. It's really good. So he made it so regular people can eat it, and then he incorporates our Univera products, because he's got, I think, about 30% of his clients and patients are kids under 12 years old, as pediatric ones. And the kids, you and I will do we'll eat whatever we have to eat to be healthy.
Yeah.
But when you got kids, they either like it or they don't like it.
Yeah, you're right. I'm glad you brought this up, where you had Dave started this type of food, and then he brings his son, a younger, because to change the behavior and the lifestyle of people, it's hard.
Absolutely.
I mean, if you tell me you eat this is no good, and you eat this is good, they've been eating what's no good a long time. And for him to change over,
Absolutely.
I mean, so that's why I'm glad that he's having different types of entrees for the catching these other people that not going to change their lifestyle.
And you know what? I had a psychologist tell me about change.
Yeah.
Change. Why is it? And why do people hate change?
Yeah.
And he says it's through evolution. Because if something changed, that meant there could be something different.
Yes.
People call you, they want you to change your phone, change your gas, change your electric. It's like pulling teeth, right? It's like you're thinking about whether you're going in for an open heart operation.
Right.
And this fella.
It's very important. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, and he said, no, change. When we were, cavemen and we were evolving, if there was a change, chances are it wasn't good, So we're built, our minds, our bodies, our spirits are, reluctant to change. But if you don't, listen, if you don't change, you could be like a dinosaur. You may not be around anymore.
So now the food that his son is making is
delicious.
And the people could make this change, not a 360, but gradually come into this type of food that will make them healthy.
Absolutely. And he uses some of our Univera stuff in cookies.
Yes, cookies, yeah.
He makes popsicles out of some of the liquid stuff. He makes smoothies for both kids and for the elderly. It's basically for everybody. And it's really his son. It's really his son that's doing it, but Dave implements it and makes it. And listen, Dave was a I don't want to say he's a tough sell, but okay. I told you when I met his brother and I said, Chef Dave, right? Where's he at? He's doing his own thing. Okay, so I moved out of the area, and this was about 4 years ago, just before Chinese New Year.
Yes.
I get a text with a number, no name, and I'm just learning how to text, right? And it says something about God and something about this stuff and this and that. And I text back, who are you? What is this stuff? Buddha. And he texts back, I'm God.
Yeah.
And I texted him back. I said, I'm sorry, I'm dyslexic and I already have a dog, so I'm not interested, right? The next day he calls me up. He says, hey, Joey, it's Chef Dave. What are you doing? We're catching up. So that's Monday, then Tuesday. He said, let's meet Wednesday. So we meet Wednesday. And I'm all excited. And he's, hey, Joey, you look good. I mean, I was eating there for 15 years. And then, I'd come in there and, I was like maybe 30, 40 pounds overweight. He's over there. Joey, you better change. You better change. You may not be around in a couple of years. Dave, okay, this and that. So I'm telling him about the Univera stuff, and he says, Joey, I'm 2 years older than you.
Yeah.
I could run a marathon. I work out 8 hours 2 days a week, and 3 days a week I work out 2.5 hours a day, I've never taken a vitamin. I've never taken a prescription drug. I've never even taken an aspirin. I got, nothing. I said, okay, Dave. All right, thanks. So we go out. He's in the car, and he's texting, right? And I'm over there, and I says, you know what? So I go over, tap on the window, and I throw 4 little bottles of the Univera stuff. Then I get in my car, and I drive off like a terrorist, right? Thursday, the next day, I get a call from him. Joey, I want to meet you Friday. Be here. I want you to be here, 4 o'clock, be here. I just read two books on a Dalai Lama, okay? And the Dalai Lama was in a hotel. Somebody left some biscuits over there. So the Dalai Lama ate them. he had to go to confession like a good Catholic boy. He goes to confession. Because if you're the Dalai Lama, you're a Buddhist monk, and Dave's trained as a Buddha, you can't eat after 3 in the afternoon. I'm over there. I said, oh, man, Dave's going to chew me out. I'm going to get a tongue lashing, this and that. But he can't throw this stuff out, right? Because, you know, he can't throw it out. It's like, you know. So I meet him on Friday. I asked this lady to come with me. I said, listen, this guy's going to tear my head off. Just help me out. He goes, hey, Joey, how do I get this stuff? I go, he says, I tried those 2 little bottles. I said, you know what? Joey looks pretty good. He looks, you know, I haven't seen him in 4 years, but he looks pretty good. And he says, you know, I've been running 3 days a week, 8.5 miles. And I took one of those little bottles. And he runs on a treadmill. And he says, in the same amount of time, I ran 9.5 miles. I go, holy cow, something happened. Then he said, you know, I worked out for 2.5 hours. I ran 9.5 miles, and I took a steam. And I took that other little bottle of stuff, you know. And he said, I walked out of that steam, and he said, usually I'm dead tired. And I felt good. So then he said, hey, I'm going. He goes home, and he's reading in his study, right? And his wife pulls up his shirt, puts her hands on his back, and he goes, oh, honey, you're making soup? You know, Koreans, they're making soup, right? She says, no, that little bottle of stuff that you gave. He said it was the first time his wife had warmth in her hands, you know, this and that. So then he became a believer, and then him and I started working together. He started teaching me about food. I started getting on his food, and we started doing it. Now his big kick is water. Water. And he, what do you got? What's your problem? Okay, this and that, and then he'll look. More water.
Well, I think water is life.
Absolutely.
Our body is made up predominantly of water. Try living without water for 3 days or 4 days. I mean, you won't last. And that's why I'm running for re-election. I'm running for re-election because I'm concerned about the health and welfare of the residents here in Cook County. It makes our job easier. And I know it's hard to change our behavior, but we have to be aware, educate, and what are we going to do about it? And we have to take care of our kids, because our kids are going to save the planet.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you know what, Dave Troy? You know, everybody's always coming with them. Hey, we got this water machine. We got this thing. We got these little tablets. We do this and that. You know what Dave tells me? Lake Michigan water is the best water in the world.